All right. All right, welcome in. I'm Donna Reade and joined by Debbie Kilsheimer, who still visits clients on site. Enough said.
I do.
It's the thing about the accounting
The only way I
industry.
get out of the house.
See, we're actual people with actual personalities, a lot of ideas. Deb has a
Yep.
lot more than we all should have.
Yeah, but the four dangerous words to Donna are, I have an idea.
Yes. Well, Bookkeepers on Fire is here to prove that these people are out there. All right, so we have a phenomenal guest today, Trudi Bruce, who all I can say is you just have to experience her wisdom. So sit down, stand up, lie on the floor, and just be in a position to receive this. But first, Deb is going to tell us more about Levvy.
Well, we're really excited. Levvy's our partner for the next few months, and it's a practice management software that was developed by Reade. And I'm hearing feedback, Don. Is that me or is that somebody else?
That's somebody else.
Okay.
Okay.
Would that be me?
I'm getting feedback off yours, Trudy. Sorry, everyone. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that.
Well, I'll just keep talking about Levvy because I don't hear it now.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
So anyway, we had Levvy. We had a training yesterday with Levvy. We started putting our own business on it, and it's really exciting. You know, all the ways she's developed all of the groups and how you work it and the SOPs. And what's really exciting is if you click the link through Bookkeepers on Fire, instead of the regular 14 days, you get 30. And then they're going to add extra training for you to get started. So, you know, take a look at Levvy. She's one of us, meaning she took up the things that bothered her and she created a whole new practice management system called Levvy. So give it a try. It's difficult to have this feedback.
I know we may have to. We'll edit this later if I can. So we'll just keep going and see if I can't edit the track. But yeah.
Okay.
We'll just keep going. There's not much we can do about this right at the moment. Okay. All right. So, Trudi, we want to hear about your journey to where you've gotten so far.
Hi. Okay, ladies. Well, I've been in the accounting field for about 45 years. I actually got my start at the town of Palm Beach. Speaking of Florida, Deb, I used to live on the other coast for a short time. And my very first payroll was 354 employees. So it was a hardcore intro to. You worked for a company you got hired as the payroll? I did. No, I worked for the town of Palm Beach in the finance department.
Oh, you worked for the town. Yeah. Okay, got it.
At the town, yeah. So which was great, and they paid for my education, and then I moved north, and I bought a business, and I did the books for that business. I bought a bar actually, which actually segues into this because people started telling me their stuff. You know, it's weird when you're on that side that people just tell you stuff. And the same thing happens today with my clients. They tell me stuff, and that allows me to fix so many things, right? But anyway, so I'm doing the books for my little business, and I ended up having a very, very, very nasty divorce, which is that'll be in a different.
They're all nasty. I never heard of a good divorce.
They are all nasty, yeah. So then now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And while I kept moving up the ranks in the W-2 environment, I still had little side hustles going on. So I'm single parenting and working 3 jobs and doing all this stuff. And what I didn't have was the safety net to go out on my own completely. I didn't have all of the know-how. You know, we didn't have the internet. We couldn't Google how to do stuff. You know, we didn't have. This was back in the day when you formed a business, you incorporated at your lawyer's office, and they kept your corporate book. So you know, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's long enough ago.
This was the days before they had internet, so there wasn't even AOL. Was there call waiting?
No. Well, yes. There was call waiting.
That was the first technology I remember.
Yeah, there was call waiting. But that's very funny. But anyway, so, you know, I didn't have the safety net. So once I found the ability to have a little time, and I thought, how can I help other, mostly women, because we seem to be a category of a lot of women. And a lot of us are in a predicament where we really want to go out on our own, and we know we have the skill set.
Right.
And I don't work right now with I don't teach any bookkeeping. So I don't work with anyone that's not already skilled, but we know we have that skill, and it's still horrifying to go out on your own. If you watch everything on the internet, you can go down some serious rabbit holes and spend some crazy money, because you'll get convinced that you need to do it this way or that way. And that, for instance, that you need to hire a company to form your entity, which that's never been true, so. And I've had older, some of my first bookkeeping clients that paid like $2,500 just to get a tax ID, which is free. So, so there's a lot of that going on. And we like to think that we as bookkeepers have a little more knowledge than that. But anyway, so I saw the need for this, and then moving along, I saw other needs like, practice management needs, because I was getting out of control. I was thinking, I have so many moving pieces, and I'm asking my staff, how am I supposed to know here who's done, who's not done? Where am I?
Did you have an accounting firm when this was going on, or what were you?
A bookkeeping firm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went from owning a bar.
I went from owning a bar back into, I stayed in accounting. Okay. But I went to, I actually was living in Vermont at the time. I had left Florida.
Okay, you went to Florida. Now you went to Vermont.
Now I'm in Vermont. Yeah. And so I went up, I was in a kind of a depressed area in Vermont, of which there are many, unfortunately. And I ended up going to Killington, which is one of the ski areas, because that's the only place I could make money. And I worked at a property management company. I was a controller at a property management business for about 8 years. And we had Okemo and Killington. And overseeing a lot, every department there, I was getting a lot of ideas, of course. And so when I left there after about 16 years, once my daughter was out of high school, I left and I moved to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, because that's where my parents had retired. And my dad actually had passed away a couple of years before that. So I moved to the Cape to be near my mom. Didn't know anybody there other than my mom. So we did two things. We joined the curling club, which was great. That's a different story altogether.
Is that where
curling club?
Is that where they swing down like the...
It is. Okay. And it's a really challenge. It's a great game. Anybody can play. And the people are wonderful. The people are what make it. Honestly, it makes anything with the people.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's just wonderful. And they do have it in Florida, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
There's one
isn't it played on ice?
It is. Yeah. So it's
how do they play it in Florida there's no
they
ice?
Have a hockey team. Yeah, you have to just have a rink. You have to have an indoor rink. I mean, we have hockey down here.
It's like there's
rink.
a hockey team, and it's controlled ice anyways.
And we used to do a big summer event. We would do a big summer event on the Cape in the summer it'd be expensive to crank up the ice in the middle of the summer.
I like seeing that. There's shows on how they make those curling balls or whatever they call them.
Stone, yeah.
Go watch that on YouTube. That's interesting.
But it's fun. I would recommend, if you ever have the opportunity to try it. It's just fun. It is. And it's a very small community. So you know how you found community with like your friends that you've met at scaling over the years? Same kind of thing. It's just a really great community. And sometimes there are people you see once or twice a year that aren't at your own club, but you travel around and you meet new people, and you can go all over the world. And my parents are from Scotland and Canada, so you don't not curl. You have to curl. It's
that's from there, and
it's a prerequisite. Yeah. Well, it's Scottish, but the Canadians kind of took it over, right? So how do you say no to that? You don't, right?
Right.
So anyway, the other thing we did when we moved to the Cape is we started a property management business, because I had been the controller of a property management company for 8 years. So my partner Robert and I started our company, and we did that for 16 years on the Cape. And during that time, I kept thinking, I need to keep my foot in the door. This is great working together and all, although you know how that can be. And why don't I keep my foot in the accounting door? So I took on a part-time role with payroll, because I can do that with my eyes closed, obviously.
Were you doing payroll by hand at that time, or were you using?
And we had to know how to figure out. We had software at the town of Palm Beach, but we had to know how to figure out the to the penny method on our Pub 15. We didn't get to use the the scales.
I remember those Pub 15s where you looked them up. You looked them up in the circular E.
Yeah,
and
but we weren't allowed to use the sliding scale. We had to do to the penny method. So we had to do math. And
I know.
Yeah, so.
And then you had to hand fill out the 941s, calculate them by hand, and then you had the little yellow coupon books.
Yes.
Where the client, we are really dating ourselves, man. So those of you that complain about payroll software, think how we used to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got that right. So I went with this little accounting office that was doing payroll, and I was there for a couple of years, just 1 day a week, managing their payrolls. And it didn't end well. I got thrown onto the bus, which I'm fine, but tell me in advance when you're going to do that.
What happened?
Oh, she blamed something, a client issue on me. And then the client
you're only there 1 day a week, so you couldn't. Yeah.
And the client called, and I happened to answer the phone, and I'm like, well, gee, this is all news. Yeah. And meanwhile, the business owner was out of town. Well, when she came back, we had a chat. And at any rate, I left. And a couple of weeks later, I started getting all these phone calls from the clients. Well, it was probably within the next 3 months, saying, my stuff is all messed up now. Please, how much money will it take? Please take my stuff. Please do my stuff. You were doing it anyway, because I had segued into doing, when people were gone, and I took this over and that over. So that was how I started my current client base, which was close to 20 years ago now.
And that was, and you were just doing payroll. Did you do any bookkeeping or?
No, I was doing the bookkeeping. I came in as a One Right Plus.
Oh, I remember those days too.
Pro advisor. So, there's a credential for you. So anyway, but I was using, and I am still to this day a desktop. I do use QuickBooks Desktop I still have a few stragglers. I've moved off to Intuit, actually. I'm moving everything off of Intuit. But for years, what are you using? I'm going to Fiscal 50.
And that's the company that's the software you wrote.
No, I didn't write it. I have a partner. I'm partnered with them on my practice management platform.
Okay.
So that they provide the general ledger. So I've migrated my clients over there, and it's been great because I don't want to get into a QuickBooks bashing, but I am a purist. I'm a desktop purist. So online did nothing for me. So
Fiscal 50, is that a desktop? Okay,
it is a cloud-based. But I just, for my own reasons, decided that I was good to go with Intuit for a bit, and let me try something brand new. They're not doing people any favors right now. Like I said, I don't want to do QuickBooks bashing, but
is it like, because I've never heard of it. Is it like?
I'm shocked. It's bank to books.
QuickBooks.
It's fully automated bank to books.
It's another GL product.
It's a GL product, bank to books. Yep, and it is. It manages inventory, accounts receivable, accounts payable, whatever you need. There's check writing, there's everything else you could need. And it's saving me time. Well, it's saving my staff time. I'll put it that way.
How many staff do you have?
I have two staff members. So, they're very part-time. I'm even part-time, and I still do well because I do advisory. And so what I'm here to talk to you about today is my version of systems-based advisory. Because what I'm finding, we've got AI has commandeered our technical data entry, and whether we like that or not is beside the point. It's done. It's happened. We have to either roll with it or get rolled over. Your choice, right?
Oh, that's a good phrase.
That's a
but
good
it's
roll with it or get rolled over. Okay. All right. I'll have to write that down, Donna.
Got it.
I see an article in our future.
But with that in mind, right, we have to switch to advisory. Now, by my estimation, and even though I've been in this a long time, a CFO or a fractional, that's a part-time chief financial officer. That is intimidating to a lot of people that don't have a lot of experience. Systems-based advisory is not. Systems-based advisory is for anyone that appreciates, and I know Donna does, systems. And in fact, McDonald's system is one of my most reliable examples, okay? Because that was all about systems from day one. It was never about the burgers. It was about the systems, right? And so by looking at everything, and I do mean everything, and I say this everywhere I go, it doesn't matter if it's how you help your kids with homework after school, how you bake your Christmas cookies, how you do your shopping, how you put away your laundry, whatever. Every single thing we do is a system, and it either works or it doesn't. And business is the exact same way. And so my contention is that when you take your standard operating procedure and you run it through the right filtration system, you will end up with a solid foundation on which to operate all of your business. And then once you understand it, you pivot and you put your clients' standard procedures through the identical filter. Because as it turns out, now most of my revenue right now comes from advisory.
So how do you use your system that you have to advise clients? Because what I'm hearing is the practicality of it, but I want to know, how do you actually interact with the clients with all of this?
Okay. Well, again, that segues back to my bartending days. For some reason, they tell me things. I wish I knew why. Some things I don't want to know, but we talk about a lot. We talk about a lot. And it normally starts with a review, right? So we're doing a side-by-side comparison. We're looking at variances. We're saying, why is this up higher than last year at this time? Or why is this so much lower? And we're trying to find out what happened. It always ends up being a system. 9 times out of 10, it's actually more obvious. So once they start telling me everything, one of the things they complain about the most often is their own staff. You know, and I have a variety of different businesses. I'm not niched to the point where everyone's in one industry. And this is industry, you know, broad. It applies to anybody. So, so you're chatting and they say, oh my God, can you believe my admin did this? Or I cannot believe, I cannot get a single employee to show up on time. What? It's like they're just frustrated. Whatever the frustration du jour happens to be, they share it. And it's always a system. Well,
okay, so what system do you have to get the employees up on time other than going to their house and pulling them out of bed?
It's not so much up on time. It's getting them to want to show up at work. You know, what
that's
is the
a cultural thing
there?
To me. That's culture.
Right. What is the culture? Yeah. And a lot of times the culture is that you have a bunch of pissed off employees. Why? They're getting barked at all the time. Why? Well, you're not even sending them out with the correct instructions for the day. So the expectations weren't clear. The responsibility wasn't clear. The intake wasn't clear. They're not even taking everything they need with them to go to the jobs. They forget.
And you're a jerk.
So anyway,
you don't pay them enough.
Right. Well, right. That I try not to say that, but that can be. And I have often said, you need a better caliber of employee here. And for that, you need to, and you can tell that too. Once you delve in, you can see what the problem is. And again, if you take that, then whatever system is causing the problems, maybe it's the hiring process, and maybe it's coupled with other things. But if you take your hiring process and you run it through the filtration of these 10 systems and you apply the ones that actually matter, like, you're hiring an employee. Okay, now he's started. Is there a job description? Is that clear? Is his responsibility clear? Does he understand what decisions is he allowed to make without calling you? Because a lot of times that's a complaint. My employees call me 100 times a day. I can't get anything done. Well, maybe they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. Right? So, and those foibles, or whatever we want to call them, those show up in the numbers eventually, because things fall through the cracks. So the real purpose of the filtration system and the standard operating procedures is to eliminate unforced errors, right? You're trying to be consistent because consistency allows you to scale, right? And to deliver a consistent product every time, and that builds credibility. So that's the other half of it. But so, the whole thing, it brings everything forward together. So it's actually, and it applies to every business. It doesn't matter what size, what industry, it's just the same exact process every single time. And you just run you want to do a standard. And I just did a YouTube on let's build an SOP. And we built one for accounts receivable where we went through and we use, a series of different checklists, but we run the current system through these processes and come up with a rock solid system that's not going to have all these gaps.
Now, have you used AI to help you develop this, or?
Oh, I use AI every day. Yeah, I do. My Jeeves and I are tight. Yeah.
Jeeves, that's an old.
Jeeves.
That's a good one.
I
I
love
like
Jeeves.
that one.
It's like clip it
it's
on
so funny because
Microsoft Office.
I do get pissed off at. I get pissed off at Jeeves, and I've been told by several people, you don't have to tell Jeeves you're pissed off because you're just wasting.
Oh, I
your
tell him.
tokens or
I
whatever.
curse at him.
But
all
I
the time.
tell him all the time, and I threaten him if you don't, stop.
If you don't behave, I'm going to go ask Chat
Exactly. That's
or
right.
Mr.
So,
Gemini.
but they don't seem to care, right? So but anyway, it allows not only for the bookkeeper to form a solid set of foundations for their own business, but it is a pivot that then you can apply to every single client. So when a client calls with a complaint, or when you're doing a review and you see something off, and you delve into what is creating the system, because a lot of times the bookkeeper patches it. Oh, you got put on COD? Uh-oh, let's pay that quickly. Well, that didn't eliminate it from happening again, did it? No. So, so what is the system that's in place? How did it happen in the first place? And let's fix it. And that's the difference between, I think, a bookkeeper and a systems-based advisor. And they segue perfectly together. Now, notice I didn't talk about forecasting or anything else. I'm talking about fixing in the current, what's currently going on that's affecting your business. So I'm not delving into, because that's a lot of pressure, right? The CFO. Oh, do I need software? Do I need to create dashboards? How am I going to convey this and that and the other? And how are we going to talk about 5-year projections and all this kind of thing? And is it any good to you if I say, well, in 5 years, you're going to be broke? If I don't say to you, let's fix the systems now that are creating that trajectory, right? So let's reel it in, pinpoint what system is the problem, run that through the filtration system, if you will.
So when they hire you, these clients, what do they call you up and say, okay, Trudi, I need you to be my bookkeeper. Accountant?
Yeah, but every single client I have is word of mouth. And 90% of them probably have all come from one banking relationship, which is the power of BNI. I did BNI for about 5 years.
Which is, so anybody that doesn't know, that's a networking group.
Business Network International, yeah. And I do talk about that a lot because it was very, very beneficial for me. And I have not actively networked in quite a few years now. And I moved 5 years ago, and I still get referrals from that bank, if not from other people in the group. And it's a smaller community on the Cape, and they all know me.
So
my
somebody
whole client base is still
gives you referrals down in Venice, Florida.
I don't have it. I don't need any referrals in Venice. Unlike you, I do not visit my clients anymore. Thank God for COVID. Luckily, COVID kind of squashed the need.
Yeah, I only visit
Everybody
one.
kind of started understanding.
I go there every week for 20 years.
Wow. That's dedication.
I've never, ever visited a client. I've been around way before COVID and never once.
Well, you're lucky that you set it up that way. I wish I had. I did not. And I, to be really candid, that was one of my least favorite parts of the job, was having to go to the client's space and having them breathe over my shoulder or whatever it was. I work better just independently.
Well, this client is the exception to the rule, because when I used to go to clients' offices, I hated it. Yeah. First off, I'd have to put clothes on and get dressed up. I hate that.
Well, there you have it.
This guy, I could walk in with nothing on. I wear this.
Yeah.
He's okay. And I'm upstairs in my own spot, and he leaves me alone.
Yeah.
And so it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the exception, but normally I don't like going. But when I started, that's what we did.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was the expectation. Either they came to you because you had a brick and mortar, or if you were independent contractor working from home, you went to them, right? Which again, so I was very glad that ended. And COVID, I moved during COVID, and didn't skip a beat, didn't lose any clients. In fact, that's when I would say that is really, because I was still part-time helping Robert with the property management at that point. But when COVID hit and we moved, but COVID was really what sparked all of my advisory stuff, because that's when they started calling a lot more. The PPP thing goofed them up, all the applications, all of the SBA processes, and all of this kind of stuff. So they started relying, those that I had, more and more heavily. but the newer clients that I have chatted with are, again, they come to me on a bookkeeping, but they're not just looking for bookkeeping. There's always it's not a comorbidity, but a co-reason, which is either they're new or they've had a recent shuffle, or something has happened where they might be a little off kilter and might require a little extra attention. And they know that I'm going to give it. So the bank will refer to me. The bank is one of the best referral partners any bookkeeper can have. They talk to new businesses every day of the week, right?
So do you do the traditional things like financial statements and payroll tax returns and prepared for the income tax return at the end of the year?
Yeah, that's huge. That's my whole intermediary area is being the go-between, the bridge between the books and the CPA. I think that this industry has a huge issue because it's not regulated. There is no, Intuit can push their QuickBooks advisory all they want, but it is not a requirement. It's not even a requirement to use QuickBooks, but it certainly is not a requirement to be a profitable.
I know anybody can become a bookkeeper. We see it all the
Exactly,
time.
and that's what CPAs hate, right? Because they get a different product from every single
CPAs aren't the end all be all either. I mean, I have some pretty
well, this is true, but you want the tax preparer to be able to decipher whatever it is you've sent.
I don't know. I've seen some crappy tax
and if they get a
preparers
different
too.
product from every single
Right.
person filtering into their system, that slows them down. So I like to teach people how to give the CPA exactly what they would like and what they need for tax ready books, which actually helps the bookkeeper form a really good relationship with their CPAs, because you usually have several, right? But they will start feeding you work as well. So it just feeds on itself really, really well. But that is huge. Yeah. That whole.
So when you're not doing all this, what do you do for fun?
Right now, I really, I don't have a lot of fun right now. I actually, every Saturday.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah. I am a bit geeky, so I like the geeky stuff. But we do every Saturday, weather permitting, we go to the beach. I've lived within a mile of the beach most of my life. I'm a former competitive swimmer and diver. I just like to be near the water. So we are at the beach usually from almost sun up to sundown.
So you couldn't live in Kansas?
Saturday. No, Vermont almost killed me. And
I went to Kansas, and I'm like, oh my God, like where's the water?
I know right.
I know they have lakes, but I like
it makes you feel like you know where you are on the map. You know what I mean? It's like being landlocked was weird. I was in Vermont and I had a pool in the backyard and a boat on Lake Champlain, and it wasn't the same. Yeah. And it gets dark so early up there too. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, every Saturday I get to be barefoot and grounded, unplugged, don't answer anyone, don't answer anything from after work on Friday afternoon until Sunday at noon. I read a lot.
What's your favorite book? Now, what do you like to read? Are you a Kindle girl or a book girl?
I'm a book girl for sure. I like to see my accomplishments on my shelves.
Okay.
If it's all on the Kindle, right? It's just, this is your whole,
But then you can take your whole library with you. That's what I like.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I'm a writer. I'm a note taker. I mark up all my books. And actually I like self-help books and self-improvement books. And I have a library actually, because I do have a membership. And I have 75, I call it the Maven 75. I've taken 75 of some of the best known business books and personal development books, and I've done executive summaries on each and every one of them.
Now, where can people read those, or what? You just did them for yourself?
It's a video. It's like a 4-minute video and tells you everything about Tony Robbins and
watch your video?
Dale Carnegie. And what's that?
Where can we watch your videos?
They are in my membership area. They're for Mavens. Yeah. So, but I would be happy to send you a few. I did actually, and it's funny because it reminds me, I did Blair N's book. And I remember seeing him on your show.
He's been on our show.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. And so instead of saying I am the prize, I say I am the Maven, right? Because that's the expert, the ace, the guru, the genius. That's the one I like. But
cool.
But so yeah, so his was one of the books that I did as well. But it's all about right now, how do you pivot to advisory if you're so new to bookkeeping that you're still a little nervous even. You've got your skills, but you don't need anything cutting out your legs from underneath you. You know what I mean? Like just when you're getting started and now I'm supposed to learn that. Well, this isn't learning anything. This is literally just applying your own filter, a different pair of glasses. And Donna does this naturally because she's been doing it her whole life. You just start seeing everything as a system, everything. And then it's really easy, especially to pick out the ones we don't like, you know, like crappy return policy at your favorite retailer. No more, you know, that's my last time. Ooh, that's my last time shopping there. Right. So it's all about everything is a system. So I think just training your own brain to see things that way naturally segues you to systems-based advisory. And then you can help your clients fix more than their books. You can help them fix the systems behind that are actually creating the numbers. So
Great.
That's the objective with Maven Systems.
And can you believe we're at time already?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry you froze, Deb. I didn't hear that.
We're at time already. Can you believe we've been on for 2 minutes? Can you believe it? So we always ask our guests one question to leave. What's the big thing you would like to tell anybody that's listening? What's your big idea?
Well, the big thing I would say is don't be afraid of advisory. Not all advisory is created equally. You can make enormous changes and help your clients. I mean, you can really solve massive problems that they're having without needing to feel like a CFO or fractional CFO is the trajectory for you. There are other ways to accomplish that. And if you're willing to look at things differently and do that, you can really increase the revenue without increasing the number of clients. It just increases the work you're doing. That would probably be the takeaway.
Well, thanks for that. Well, this has been great having you on, Trudi. we met at Sterling New Heights and said, okay, we're getting on the show. And here we are.
Yeah. And I loved seeing you guys at Scaling. And I actually, Donna, I really liked your guided tour. I did a guided tour with you. And I did one of the other headphone sessions with you. And I still have to go back and look at all my videos of all the sessions that I couldn't attend. There was just too much going on there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I love the sense of community. Yeah.
That's the best. Well, thank you again for coming. Donna, you have any words to sign us off?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our show today. So huge thanks to Trudi for sitting down with us. And if you're walking away rethinking your systems, your culture, well, that's the point. We'll talk all about that today.
Donna loves
every
systems.
bookkeeper. Yeah. Oh, I'm a systems person. I was just creating a bunch this morning. It was like I was in heaven.
Yeah,
but
which is fun. That's fun, you know.
Out there, keeping the lights on and the auditors away. We see you. We are you. Go feel proud, confident, and seen. And we only ask that you subscribe, share, like, and send this to a friend. So join us every Tuesday, same time. And until next time, keep the books clean, the boundaries cleaner. And remember, every time you create a system, an angel gets its wings. So thank you.
I love it.
And you have a wonderful day.